You're a very astute watcher. Oh, hi, spooks, by the way. My name is Jess. I put the J in JT Reads. If you are an astute watcher, you may be thinking, you look just like you looked in your reading vlog for Wales. Well, you would be correct, because I recorded that about 30 seconds ago. The intro, I didn't go to Wales 30 seconds ago. I'm home. This is a great start. I'm not re-recording it. This is what you get. I am actually here to go through my TBR game for June, halfway through the year. Oh my gosh. First of all, this is a lot of cards. Not too many prompts. I think I got 5, which is good. I'm happy that's an average reading month for me. But lots of boosts and bonuses. So this is going to be a really interesting pick. And per my TBR shelf challenge, I want to stick mostly to these books here. Give or take a few, because sometimes there are audiobooks that I want to listen to. I'll go through what I've got coming up in a minute, but mostly I want to stick to the ones on my shelf. So let's see if we can squeeze these prompts into those in a minute. First up, let's recap last month. I will leave the video at the end, so if you haven't seen that one yet, you can go watch it and see which prompts I picked out. But I can confirm I completed it, and I had, I think, £13 to spend on books. I will be honest, because this is a safe space. I spent my £13 reward the same day I played the game. I rewarded myself before I completed the challenge, and there was a moment towards the end of the month where I was not sure whether I was going to make it, and I was like, what happens here? Because I haven't unboxed the books that I bought myself. Do I return them? That seems counterproductive. I don't know what the protocol is for that, so really glad that I completed it, because that would have been a shit show. My hair looks so ridiculous. You know when you've had a haircut and you just don't quite know how to style it now, it's different? That's where I'm at. This is how I spent my £13 to reward myself for completing my May TBR game. I'm going to prove what I spent. There'll be a little clip here, but for now, let me unbox these and show you. I read Ariadne this month and it changed my life. I'm fully back in my Greek mythology era, so I bought Medea by Rosie Hewlett. I think I read 2 Medusa books in quick succession. One I really enjoyed and one I didn't really enjoy. Can I remember which is which? No, I cannot. Jessie Burton. Oh, okay. Medusa by Jessie Burton was the one I really enjoyed. Maybe Medusa by Rosie Hewlett was the one I didn't enjoy so much, but irrelevant, because I've heard really good things about this one and I'm very excited to read it. So ignoring Medusa for now, I just don't think I particularly like what she did with the story, but I'm very excited to read this one. It needs to go on the shelf. If you've seen my TBR shelf video, then you know it needs to go in this section beside the horizontal books. I kept saying vertical books, and that's not what I mean. The section's already growing quite a lot, and it's only been a month. Medea was actually secondhand. This one I bought brand new, and I'm so glad I did because it is beautiful. I bought Clytemnestra by Costanza Casati, and I'm so excited to read this one. I follow the author on Instagram, and every time she posts anything, I am just like, get that book into my hands at once. It's been kind of torture that I have had these for a month now almost, and they've just been sat in a box on the floor in the office. These are my rewards for completing May, and I thought £13 was going to be quite an interesting challenge, but that's a bit of a steal for 13. June TBR, I've got a little bit more money to play with, and I am not spending it until I have completed it. That's how I should do this challenge. Okay, let's talk about June. So first up, I have a few books on Libby or BookBeat that I'm quite interested in reading, so I might tie those into the month. But as I said earlier, mostly I want to be picking things from my TBR shelf. So for consideration, on Libby, I have Pandora's Jar, which is available in the next few days, and also Great Circle by Maggie Shipstead is on my TBR jar shelf up there somewhere. Both of those audiobooks are available soon, so I can either include those in the challenge, or I can read them alongside it, or I can delay them. I've been delaying Pandora's Jar for about 3 months now. The time has almost come. Then on BookBeat, I actually have the audiobook for Practical Magic, which I'm really interested in listening to, but that could always be just a palate cleanser between books because I think it's going to be a cozy, witchy, fun time. I do also have the ebook for A Botanist's Daughter, and that sounds really lovely, so very interested in reading that one too. So they are also contenders, maybe, unless I want to read them outside of the challenge. But anyway.
Who do you think you are? You say you wanna talk, but all I'm hearing is a monologue. Who do you wanna be? You say you're really deep, but I can tell you don't know what that means. You can swim in shallow waters, but it's gonna get you nowhere. And I'm way too good to waste my time on boys like you. Can you speak without a filter? Can you give me something better? I bet you do. Hey baby, if you wanna get to know me, all you gotta do is take me to your heart, yeah. Hey baby, if you want me to be with you, all you gotta do is take me to your heart, yeah. Come on, give me something real, doesn't have to be ideal, just a part of you that's honest, that's all I want. Hey baby, if you wanna get to know me, all you gotta do is take me to your heart, yeah. Could you shut up for once, relax that eager tongue, and let me tell you something about myself. I'm not the clueless one, I'm neither weak nor dumb, so I don't buy this version of you. Hell no. You can swim in shallow waters, but it's gonna get you nowhere. And I'm way too good to waste my time on boys like you. Can you speak without a filter? Can you give me something better? I bet you do. Hey baby, if you wanna get to know me, all you gotta do is take me to your heart, yeah. Hey baby, if you want me to be with you, all you gotta do is take me to your heart, yeah. Come on, give me something real, doesn't have to be ideal, just a part of you that's honest, that's all I want. Hey baby, if you wanna get to know me, all you gotta do is take me to your heart, yeah. I'll give you today to take me away. If you hear what I'm saying, you know to a place. Boy, can you prove there's much more to you? I bet you do. Hey baby, if you wanna get to know me, all you gotta do is take me to your heart,
Let's go through all the cards I picked, because there are a lot. First up, bonus cards. I actually got 3. One of them was the tile multiplier, where you double the coins that you have on that tile, and it happened when I landed on the moon one, which is £5. So I got £10, and up until that point, my coins were looking quite low, and then boom, we suddenly had 10 more, and we ended up with 21. But spoiler alert, I think we're going to end up with 22. Because my 2 bonus cards are, I have double up, 1 book, 2 prompts. We'll definitely be using that one because I've got quite a beastie prompt coming up. So we'll definitely want to use the double up one. But I also pulled try again, redraw a prompt card, and I don't think I'm going to use that because I quite like the prompts I've got. So I'm actually going to put this back and add an extra £1 to my collection, which means cool. When I was playing the game, I was honestly shocked every time I landed on a boost card. I landed on 4, and I'm not mad about it because I'm going to have a really fun month now. And what I will be doing this month is, first of all, I will be reading at night. Easy peasy, I do that anyway, so I'll get a little clip of me reading in the evening or late night maybe. Next up, I got take your book to a coffee shop. Again, not difficult. I run a book club, so every other week we are at a coffee shop reading our books. I might also try to take myself on a solo coffee shop reading date. It's more of a challenge, if you know what I mean. Going to book club and reading my book isn't a challenge for me because I do that anyway and I enjoy it. It doesn't push me out of my comfort zone. And I know these boosts are supposed to boost my month, but also I'm trying to push myself out of my comfort zone. This one's actually a little bit difficult for me. Next up, I have bake whilst you read, and love the thought of making some cinnamon buns with my headphones in listening to an audiobook, but I'm not the best baker. I'm quite impatient, so this will be a challenge for me. Maybe one weekend I'll make cinnamon buns for breakfast and put my audiobook in. That's a nice idea. And last for the boost cards, I have write in a journal, and I pretty much do this every day anyway. I have a whole video on it. Well, as part of a recent video I did, there was a whole clip where I talk about how I journal. I will link it at the end. And so I do it quite regularly anyway, not always every day, but I do it regularly. So this will definitely be achieved this month. So that was quite a lot of boost cards for 1 month. It's going to be a really fun month. Alongside boosting my month, I'm also going to read 5 books for my TBR Game challenge. And these prompts are, first up, book I've owned for a really long time. Now this one came at the most serendipitous of times, because I think I mentioned it in my TBR shelf video, but I actually have this adventure sheet from G, who hosts Magical Readathon, and it is a year-long challenge so that you can reward your character with a gift. And I said I was aiming to get a rescue cat for my character. To do that, I need to read in June a book I've had for ages. Can you believe how well that worked out? And so I've put a little sticky note on here that I want to read Sharp Teeth. I spoke about it in my TBR shelf video. If you haven't seen it, Sharp Teeth by Toby Barlow. I have owned this, I think, since 2010 or 2011, so it's been a long time. It's a novel in verse, so I really love that format, and I have owned it for a very long time. So this actually works for those 2 prompts so well. The next prompt I had was a book in a series, and I've got some contenders. I will just explain myself, because I actually moved a book out of my TBR shelf after posting the video, but I did put a new one in. So in this spot here, I had The Temple of Fortuna by Elodie Harper, which is the 3rd book in the Wolf Den series. But since doing my TBR shelf video, I actually bought the 2nd book secondhand, so I have swapped it. I took the 3rd book out and put it at this end here and moved the 2nd book into that slot. So the figures are still the same, I just couldn't put the 3rd book above the 2nd book. That makes no sense. I can't read in that order. So I could read The House with the Golden Door by Elodie Harper. That's a contender. But I have only just finished Wolf Den, so do I want to have a little bit of a break before I go back into the series? Unsure. I also am waiting for the audiobook to come on Libby so I can combo read it, and that's not available from the 8 weeks, so don't think I'll be getting to it this month. Another option would be to read the 2nd book in Howl's Moving Castle series and read Castle in the Air. That might be a light, fun read, because I think it's a children's story, or at least teen, so that could work. Do I fancy reading that right now? I don't know. I kind of do. Or I could start a new series and read The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. I almost bought the 2nd one yesterday and talked myself out of it, because I'm trying not to do that thing where I buy the 2nd book before I've read the 1st book, or buy multiple books from the same author when I haven't even read one, because I don't know if I'm gonna like it. So I could read that, but it's quite a big book, but I could tie that in. I could tie that in with the next prompt, which is more than 400 pages, and use a double up. Could do that. And then my last option is Sunbringer by Hannah Kaner. I read Godkiller in April? Did I read it in April? Maybe. And I haven't read the sequel yet, but I have it on my shelf, so could easily pick that one up. So as I said, my next prompt is more than 400 pages, and there are quite a few that could be contenders. I do want to read The Silence Factory by Bridget Collins. I don't know if that's more than 400 pages though. I checked, it's not more than 400 pages. But The Book That Wouldn't Burn definitely is. The House with the Golden Door, I checked, and The House with the Golden Door is almost 500 pages. I think they're probably going to be my 2 options for that one. Either The House with the Golden Door or The Book That Wouldn't Burn. I'm going to think about it. My next prompt is a bit difficult. I had a little bit of a think about it last night, and I don't think I've got many things on my shelf that actually fit the prompt, unless I go to my TBR jar shelf up top. But the prompt is a book released over 10 years ago. And I did a quick little nosy through the books that I wanted to read, and they are all quite recent, that's why they're on the shelf. I could read something from my TBR jar shelf, but that kind of defeats the purpose of the game. The only one I can think of that I'd be interested in reading is Diana Wynne Jones' Castle in the Air. That was released in 1990, so definitely over 10 years ago. And so I'm thinking I will use that for this prompt instead of picking it for book in a series. Yes, yep, I've made my mind up. There she is. For the prompt, a book released over 10 years ago, Castle in the Air by Diana Wynne Jones, released in 1990. It's going on the TBR. I'm going to read it in June. Last up, we have kind of a fun one because it could almost be anything, and that is a book ending in an odd number. Now, let me tell you, I desperately want to read The Silence Factory by Bridget Collins because it's just been released and I pre-ordered it, so I want to read it now whilst it's fresh. If that doesn't work, then I'd quite like to read The Revels by Stacey Thomas, so that could also be an option. But let's start with The Silence Factory, because that's what I really want to read. I have to be so careful that I don't read a spoiler. I need to know what page the story ends on. This is a difficult prompt. It ends on an even number. I really want to read that this month, so that's a struggle. Can I make it fit any other prompt? No, I can't. Okay, right. I need to visualize my options. So a book released over 10 years ago and a book I've owned for ages are both done. So all I have, I need more than 400 pages, a book in a series, or a book ending in an odd number. I'm going to combine more than 400 pages and a book in a series and read The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. Yes, here he is in all his glory. A stunning book, extremely intimidated, but it gets 2 prompts down and a big book off my shelf. So we're going to try this month. It doesn't leave me a lot of room to read anything extra this month, but let's see what we can find with some odd numbers. I think now might be the perfect time to utilize an audiobook. So I do have Practical Magic ready to listen to on BookBeat. Let me check Goodreads and see how many pages it is, please. It's 286 pages. Okay, we're not stressing. Let's pick a short book from the shelf. I recently read a lot of my short books. I read 2 horror novellas in May. That took a lot of short books off my shelf, but there is a book called The Rooftop. And before we check whether it ends on an odd number of pages, it's relatively short. I think the font is kind of small. Oh, it's average. Okay, please end on an odd number. At this point, I don't care if the book itself ends on an odd number rather than just the story. I'm taking it, okay? We make the rules, we break the rules. It ends on page 112. Okay, it's becoming a challenge. I don't think I'm going to have capacity to read a big hardback again this month, especially because I want to squeeze in The Silence Factory alongside The Book That Wouldn't Burn. Okay, now would be a great time for me to have a horror graphic novel or something, or a manga, but I don't have anything on my shelf. That's fine. I do have the second House Witch on my shelf, and I enjoyed the first one, and if I could find the audiobook, I could combo read that. Let me check if I can get the audiobook. Before we get excited, let's check how many pages it has. May we just appreciate the covers. I think they were self-published but have recently been re-released. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't actually have any facts on that whatsoever. Just vibes, but it's got that, I'm going to say, self-published feel, because their covers are just so nice, and I don't know why that is. My own self-published poetry book also has the same cover. Unsure why. But anyway, how many pages does it have? The House Witch number 2 finishes on page 349. The story itself finishes on 349. So this is what we're reading. I think I've got a big challenge on my hands, but it's fine. So for the prompt, a book ending in an odd number, I'm reading The House Witch number 2 by Delem Hach. 8 out of 10 for flop. Let's recap. A book I've owned for a really long time, Sharp Teeth by Toby Barlow. A book released over 10 years ago, Castle in the Air by Diana Wynne Jones. Using my double up bonus card for the prompts, a book that is more than 400 pages and also a book in a series, I am reading The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. And finally, for the prompt, a book ending in an odd number, I'm reading the second in the House Witch series. When I look at it like that, it looks doable. It's just that book at the bottom is so intimidating. We can do this. This is the challenge. But as always, there are some books that I would like to read alongside the challenge in the month, and those are The Silence Factory by Bridget Collins. I am so excited to read this, but I'm not reading it until I have read the books in the challenge, otherwise I'm going to get myself into a sticky situation where I can't spend that £22 that I want to spend. I'm not adding anything else to my hopefuls for this month because I think I've got enough of a challenge on my hands. That will do, thank you. I think I will delay Pandora's Jar and Great Circle on Libby to next month and we'll just deal with it then. However, I may give The Botanist's Daughter a go. That's the ebook that I have on BookBeat. I don't think I'll need another audiobook because I actually have The Book That Wouldn't Burn also on audiobook, so I'll probably combo read that. So I don't think I need another audiobook to listen to. However, an ebook might be quite nice because it's easier to read, but I'm not going to put any pressure on myself because this is enough. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. If any of these prompts have inspired you to pick up anything on your shelf, do let me know. They were some good ones this month, so I'm looking forward to getting stuck into these books. I'm very interested to know what I'm going to think of The Book That Wouldn't Burn and whether I should have bought the sequel or not. We'll see if I have that regret later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye!
Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to